This is no accident. This moment, this specific message, is a divine appointment, meticulously crafted by forces beyond your comprehension and delivered directly to your spirit. This isn't merely a video in an endless digital stream. It is a sacred beacon, a direct summons from the realms of possibility, meant solely for you. You who have tirelessly sought answers, who have wrestled with the quiet anxieties of financial struggle, who have stared into the darkness of uncertainty, wondering when your breakthrough would finally arrive. This isn't just a promise. It's a solemn covenant, a declaration that the solution to transform your life from the crushing weight of scarcity into an overflowing river of abundance, from sleepless nights filled with worry to days imbued with profound peace, is not only within reach, but is actively reaching out to embrace you right now. Your spirit has been waiting for this. Your destiny has been aligning for this very connection. If I were to tell you that there exists a psalm so profoundly potent, so deeply steeped in divine anointing, so carefully veiled within the ancient tapestry of spiritual wisdom, that merely listening to it once could dismantle every financial obstacle and fling wide open every door to prosperity in your life, would your heart, burdened by waiting, truly be prepared to believe? If I were to reveal that a sacred code, guarded across generations, holds the power to utterly transform the very atmosphere surrounding your finances, to utterly collapse the insurmountable walls that have stood stubbornly against your prosperity, and to awaken a ceaseless, unstoppable flow of abundance into every facet of your existence, would you dare to embrace such a magnificent truth? And if I then whispered that the long-awaited breakthrough, the one you have prayed for with fervent tears, the one you have cried out for in moments of quiet desperation, the one you have endlessly strived for, could be unleashed not through exhaustive effort or relentless struggle, but through a single transformative moment of spiritual activation, would your spirit, weary from the fight, soar with a fresh, undeniable expectation? Because today, your presence here is no random event. You were guided. You were led. The heavens themselves have orchestrated your arrival into this hallowed space, a sanctuary where profound mysteries are unveiled, where what was once hidden is now brought into the illuminating light, and where doors that stubbornly refused to budge are now compelled to swing wide open. This very moment, you stand poised at the precipice of a divine mystery, a profound truth whispered only among a select remnant of believers throughout the annals of time. This is not just any prayer. This is not a fleeting, comforting devotional designed to merely soothe your temporary anxieties. No, this is a divine summoning, a radical spiritual awakening, an urgent call into higher realms of existence, an invitation into a blessing so overwhelmingly radical, so utterly transformative, that it will utterly obliterate every single vestige of lack, every shadow of inadequacy in your life. The message you are about to receive is not a psalm in its conventional, well-known form. It is a fusion, the divinely orchestrated combination of Psalm 112, Psalm 91, and Psalm 23, meticulously merged into a singular, all-encompassing decree of abundance, unyielding protection, and limitless divine provision. For countless centuries, the full explosive power of this sacred fusion has been meticulously shielded. Not because God ever desired to withhold blessing from you, not because the divine intentionally kept prosperity out of your reach, but because the raw, uncontainable force encapsulated within these potent words is simply not for the unprepared, not for the faint of heart, not for those who waver in their conviction. It is specifically designed for those whose spirits have been meticulously ready to step into their inherent spiritual authority, for those who are not merely willing, but eager to receive the fullness of heaven's bounty, for those who profoundly understand that the heavens themselves respond with immediate and overwhelming power to faith, but only when that faith is courageously wrapped in an unshakable boldness. And by the sheer grace of heaven today, in this very instant, heaven has chosen you. This is your moment. So before we venture further into the deeper currents of this revelation, take a profound breath. Allow your heart to open wide, to truly feel the profound shift that is already beginning to unfold around you. Can you feel it? Your spirit is stirring a gentle but insistent tremor from within. The very air around you seems to thicken, becoming heavier, almost palpable, also charged with an undeniable electric energy. The atmosphere itself is transforming because the frequency of your life, the very vibration of your being, is rising, aligning with something ancient, something holy, something immeasurably powerful. Now listen to me with every fiber of your being. Every single struggle you've endured with money, every agonizing delay in experiencing your breakthrough, every door that slammed shut in your face and stubbornly refused to open, none of it was random. Absolutely none of it was a mere coincidence. There have been invisible forces at play, spiritual resistances actively working against your blessing, unseen barriers standing squarely between you and the boundless abundance that God Himself has unequivocally promised you. But hear this truth: those very forces, those very barriers are trembling right now. They are faltering, losing their grip, because the moment you allow this hidden decree, this fusion of divine frequencies, to permeate your spirit, a supernatural shaking will commence. Chains that have bound you for years will shatter into dust. Walls that have imprisoned your potential will crumble. Blockages that have stifled your flow will dissolve into nothingness, and the torrent of heaven's provision will rush toward you with the irresistible force of a mighty river, finally freed from an ancient dam. But first, before that earth-shattering power is fully revealed, your spirit, your very inner being, must be meticulously prepared. You must, with every fiber of your being, grasp the profound reason why this particular psalm, this divine fusion, carries such explosive transformative force. Psalm 112, in its pure essence, is the psalm of unyielding prosperity. Its sacred verses resonate with declarations of limitless financial blessing, of enduring legacy, of multi-generational wealth, and of unshakable divine favor. It speaks of a righteous man, whose seed shall be mighty upon earth. Wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness endures forever. Then there is Psalm 91, the powerful psalm of absolute protection. It is a spiritual seal, safeguarding your life, your home, your every step out, and your entire path from every conceivable attack and snare of darkness, declaring that no evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling. And finally, Psalm 23, the revered psalm of overflowing provision. It is a divine summons calling forth supernatural supply, infallible guidance, and an abundance so profound it literally overflows, assuring you that the Lord is your shepherd, and you shall not want. Separately, these psalms are undeniably strong, each a formidable bastion of spiritual truth. But united, fused into this sacred decree, they become an unstoppable, invincible force. This fusion, this extraordinary merging of divine energies, is precisely what the ancient teachers, the wise mystics of old, reverently termed a royal decree. It is not a timid request, not a whispered plea to the heavens. No, it is a command, an authoritative spiritual verdict, a powerful declaration spoken with the unshakable authority of someone who intimately knows their true royal identity in God. That precisely is why this hidden psalm does not merely offer comfort. It activates you. It awakens the dormant power within you. It transforms your very essence, fundamentally shifting you from a state of begging to one of commanding, from being a mere seeker to becoming a rightful possessor, from passively wishing for change to actively decreeing your destiny. But let me impart to you a profound truth, a revelation that far too many never grasp. Heaven does not respond to begging. Heaven, the very realm of divine power and order, responds with absolute certainty to decrees. When you beg, when you plead from a place of perceived inadequacy, you inadvertently position yourself beneath your current situation, affirming its power over you. But when you decree, when you speak with the conviction of your divine lineage, you rise majestically above it. When you beg, your words emanate from a place of lack, from a void that needs filling. But when you decree, you speak from the vast reservoir of your spiritual inheritance, from the inherent wealth already laid up for you. When you beg, you desperately hope for permission, for a benevolent hand to grant you access. But when you decree, you are actively exercising the inherent sovereign authority that has always been yours. And this psalm, this sacred fusion of divine codes, does not operate through the weakness of begging. It works exclusively through the authoritative voice of a child of God, a true heir who fully comprehends their divine right and wields it without hesitation. Therefore, before the decree itself can fully unleash its power, something fundamental must shift within you. Your mindset must transform, rising above the limitations of the past. Your heart must elevate, shedding the burdens of doubt and fear. Most critically, your true identity must awaken, emerging from the shadows of misperception. You are not merely someone striving to earn a blessing. You are someone boldly claiming what heaven has already irrevocably written, with your name upon it. You are not someone timidly hoping for a miracle. You are someone stepping into a miracle, already set in motion, already gathering momentum. You are not someone knocking tentatively on the door of provision. You are someone commanding that very door to swing open, recognizing your inherent right of entry. Even now, can you feel it? Something deep within your spirit is already stirring, responding to these words. A subtle vibration, a powerful pull, an undeniable knowing is awakening. This is your soul recognizing truth when it hears it, like a homing beacon, finding its way back to its source. And the undeniable truth is this: you are standing at the threshold of a completely new financial reality, a potent new spiritual authority, a vibrant new rhythm of abundance, and a profoundly transformed identity in God. This is the moment your previous limitations begin to dissolve, replaced by a horizon of limitless possibility. Yet as you embark on this sacred journey of revelation, hear this crucial insight: you cannot, and indeed you shouldn't, walk this path alone. The spiritual landscape is vast and sometimes turbulent. You require covering, a protective shield against the inevitable whispers of doubt. You need constant spiritual reinforcement, a steady stream of divine energy to fortify your resolve. You need a dedicated sanctuary, a sacred space where unshakable faith is spoken daily, where the very atmosphere of heaven is not just present, but vibrantly alive and active. This, my friend, is precisely why I extend to you a gentle yet urgent invitation. If you haven't already, take a moment now to subscribe to the Daily Jesus Message. This is not a mechanical request, not a mere exchange of benefits. No, this is because your spirit, your very essence, yearns for a home, a sacred dwelling place where unfiltered revelation flows like a refreshing river, where your burgeoning faith is nourished and strengthened with every passing moment, where your mindset is consistently fortified against the assaults of the world, and where you are lovingly guided deeper and deeper into the extraordinary path God is actively unfolding for you. The Daily Jesus Message is that home, that wellspring of prophetic clarity, that unshakable shelter for your spiritual growth, a continuous stream of encouragement that perpetually aligns you with the very voice of heaven. If you truly desire for the unparalleled blessing that is now rushing toward you to remain. If you long for your heart to stay perpetually awakened to divine truth, if you wish for the sacred flow of abundance to stay perpetually open and unhindered in your life, then you must proactively immerse yourself, surround your entire being with the very atmosphere that not only sustains it, but amplifies it. Now take another deep, deliberate breath, because this, my friend, is only the beginning. What you are about to hear in the subsequent parts of this journey is far more than mere information. It is an act of spiritual activation, the precise ignition of your inherent spiritual authority. It is the profound transformation of your very identity, peeling away the old to reveal the glorious new. And once that magnificent shift takes place, nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever be able to stop the flood of abundance that is already on its way to you, gathering momentum with every passing moment. Prepare yourself. The journey into the secret psalm has only just begun to reveal its deepest wonders. What if I were to suggest that the most formidable barrier standing between you and the boundless abundance God meticulously designed for your life is not an external force, not a global economic downturn, not a specific geopolitical tension, but rather an internal construct deeply embedded within the very fabric of your being? What if I were to tell you that the vast majority of people, though they pray earnestly and tirelessly for financial breakthrough, inadvertently harbor a subconscious mindset that actively, even vehemently blocks the very blessings they are desperately asking for? And furthermore, what if I revealed that before this secret psalm, this divine fusion can truly unleash the floodgates of heaven for you? Something profoundly significant, something deep within the core of your spirit, must undergo a complete and irreversible transformation. This journey, you see, is not merely about passively hearing sacred words, however potent they may be. It is about actively becoming the transformed version of yourself, the empowered individual who possesses the inherent authority to command blessing, to speak it into existence. Before external abundance can manifest with undeniable force, internal authority must rise, solidify, and take its rightful place. This precisely is why you are here, at this exact moment. This is why heaven itself, with its infinite wisdom and perfect timing, drew you into this specific encounter. Because your spirit, awakened and poised, is ready to ascend into a dimension that most believers sadly never truly access. A sacred realm where prayer is not a desperate act of begging, but a powerful legislative act of commanding. Where faith is not a fragile, wavering hope, but a fierce, unyielding conviction. Where identity is not a subject of perpetual questioning or doubt, but a firmly established, divinely ordained truth. You are being meticulously prepared for the decree that will, without a doubt, change everything. So allow me to ask you a question, one that is designed to penetrate the very depths of your soul, to bypass superficialities and reach the core of your being. Are you truly ready to cease approaching God as a desperate, uncertain seeker, perpetually waiting for a handout? Are you ready instead to stand boldly and confidently before Him as an empowered rightful heir to His glorious kingdom? Because that, my friend, is the profound transformation that absolutely must occur before the secret psalm can unleash its full earth-shattering power into every area of your life. Hear this truth crystal clear. Let it resonate without distortion. Blessing, true, lasting, divine blessing, does not come to the anxious heart. Breakthrough, the kind that radically reshapes your reality, does not come to the timid spirit, perpetually shrinking from challenge. Financial shifting, the kind that brings about radical, permanent change, does not come to those who kneel in fear, paralyzed by uncertainty. Heaven responds with immediate and overwhelming power to sons and daughters who know without a shadow of a doubt precisely who they are in Christ. This is why your mindset, your very internal framework, must shift dramatically. From pleading to proclaiming, from passively wishing to actively decreeing, from merely hoping to boldly commanding. But how, you might wonder, do you rise into such a formidable authority? How do you step into an identity so profound that your words carry tangible weight in the spiritual realm, capable of altering your physical reality? It begins with one singular life-altering revelation. You are not a spiritual orphan, abandoned and alone. You are not someone desperately trying to earn God's attention, hoping to catch His eye. You are not someone merely hoping to be heard, wondering if your voice reaches the heavens. No, you are a child of the Almighty, a magnificent carrier of divine authority, a rightful heir to every single treasure Heaven has meticulously stored for you. For far too long, the insidious whispers of the enemy have relentlessly sought to blind you to this undeniable truth. He has cunningly woven thoughts of unworthiness into the fabric of your mind, aiming to systematically weaken your inherent confidence, to make you doubt your rightful place. He has relentlessly pointed to the perceived failures and missteps of your past, attempting to utterly silence your prophetic voice, to prevent you from speaking with the power you possess. He has masterfully wielded the weapon of fear, employing it to keep you perpetually bound, to stop you from ever speaking and acting like the spiritual ruler you were divinely destined to be. He has cunningly convinced you that your prayers are fragile, easily dismissed, when in the profound reality of the spiritual realm, your very voice, once aligned with divine authority, has the power to shake the unseen world to its very core, to make darkness tremble. But today, right now, that spiritual blindness ends, because as you delve deeper into this unfolding revelation, something profound, something powerful, is already beginning to awaken within you. Can you feel it? A stirring, a subtle but insistent pressure. A rising awareness that you're in truth infinitely more powerful than you have ever dared to realize, more capable than you ever imagined. This is not ego inflating. This is identity, though your true royal identity, surging to the forefront. This is not human pride. This is your divine inheritance manifesting within your very being. This is not fleeting self-confidence. This is God confidence, the unshakable certainty of your divine backing, powerfully awakening within you. Now listen with absolute precision, because what I am about to articulate is one of the most fundamentally important truths you will ever encounter. A truth capable of reshaping your entire understanding of reality. Your financial breakthrough, that long-awaited shift, is not being blocked because heaven is slow to respond or because God is withholding. No, it is blocked primarily because your true powerful identity has been systematically suppressed, kept dormant. The very instant you rise into your rightful divinely ordained identity, the spiritual realm, that invisible yet potent dimension, begins to recognize your authority. And when the spirit world, with all its intricate workings, fully recognizes and respects your authority, doors begin to open that no human force, no earthly power can ever shut. And divine favor, that intangible yet immensely powerful force, begins to flow into your life in ways that the natural logical mind simply cannot comprehend or explain. This precisely is why the secret psalm, this potent fusion of divine power, cannot be approached, casually, cannot be treated as just another prayer. If you listen to it from the perspective of someone who still feels powerless, who believes themselves to be a victim of circumstance, you severely limit its magnificent effect. You diminish its transformative potential. But if you hear it, if you internalize it, as someone who has fully awakened to their inherent spiritual authority, its power will ignite instantly within you like a sacred flame. This psalm is not spoken to the fearful heart. It is spoken through the fearless, through the bold. It is activated by the audacious spirit. It is released through those who speak with divine certainty, with an unshakable conviction, born of their true identity. But to attain that unshakable certainty, to embody that profound conviction, you must first and foremost fully comprehend the intricate spiritual system you are now consciously choosing to enter. Let me break it down for you with absolute clarity. Prayer in its most basic form is communication. It is a dialogue, a conversation with the divine. Decree, however, is not merely communication. It is legislation. Prayer asks it, humbly presents a petition. Decree commands, it issues a binding directive. Prayer opens a door, making entry possible. Decree with resolute steps walks through that door, taking possession. Prayer prepares your heart, aligning your inner world. Decree, on the other hand, prepares your future, actively shaping your destiny. And the secret psalm, in its essence, is not a prayer in the traditional sense. It is a decree, a divine order, a spiritual law, indelibly written into the very archives of heaven itself. When you speak it not with hesitation, but with awakened, unyielding authority, heaven is compelled to obey, and every opposing force of the enemy is forced into full, undeniable retreat. Yet you cannot decree with a mindset that still clings to feelings of powerlessness. You cannot decree with a heart that still views itself as unworthy, still bound by past perceived failures. You cannot decree with a voice that still trembles in fear, still whispers in doubt. Your inner posture, your spiritual stance, must undergo a complete transformation first. You must truly feel the majestic weight of who you are, the divine fire of who you are, the inherent royalty of who you are, the boundless inheritance that is yours. You must stand firmly, unequivocally, in your spiritual lineage, understanding your profound connection to the divine. So imagine this vivid scene unfolding in your spiritual vision. You are no longer that desperate seeker, timidly knocking on a distant, imposing door, hoping for a mere sliver of entry. No. You are a child of the King, walking boldly and majestically into a magnificent palace, a celestial dwelling meticulously built for the very fulfillment of your destiny. You do not ask for permission to enter. Such a thought is beneath your station. Instead, the colossal doors swing open before you, not because of your plea, but because they inherently recognize the powerful, undeniable presence of the rightful heir. This, my friend, is precisely who you are becoming right now. In this very instant, heaven sees it, acknowledging your transformation with celestial affirmation. Hell fears it, for your awakening marks their inevitable downfall. Your spirit feels it, resonating with a deep, ancient knowing. And your entire future, the very trajectory of your life, hinges upon this profound shift. And as this magnificent identity awakens, courage, true holy courage, naturally follows in its wake. You begin to feel a sacred tension, a holy stirring deep within your core, a pressure almost palpable, as if something immeasurably powerful is about to burst forth, to erupt from within. Your heart beats to a new, stronger rhythm. Your breath deepens, filling your lungs with a newfound strength. Your entire atmosphere shifts, becoming charged with divine energy. This precisely is what spiritual authority feels like. Authority is not expressed through loud, aggressive shouting. Authority is an inner knowing, a quiet, unshakable certainty. Authority is a profound, unmovable calm, rooted in an established, undeniable identity. Authority, my friend, is that unshakable knowing deep within your spirit that whispers, I do not merely ask for breakthrough, I command it. And right now, in this very moment, that inherent authority is magnificently rising inside you, surging with an unstoppable force. But before you can fully unleash that decree, you must shatter the final lingering layer of spiritual conditioning. the insidious lie that has convinced you that you must patiently wait your turn. For too long, well-meaning voices, perhaps even your own, have told you to be patient, to accept your challenging situation, to believe that blessing is something that will only come to you much later, perhaps even in another season of life. But heaven, with its perfect timing and boundless generosity, is now declaring something profoundly different, something urgent and undeniable. Your moment is now. This very instant. This precisely is why the secret psalm, this potent key to your abundance, is entering your life at this exact juncture, not years from now, not when you are older or more ready. Your spirit has matured enough to handle its immense power. Your identity, now awakened, is strong enough to release its transformative force. Your faith, now vibrantly alive, is potent enough to activate it. You are in this sacred moment, crossing a profound threshold, stepping into a dimension of spiritual power that only a select few believers ever truly reach. A place where your words, once perhaps echoing in silence, no longer merely drift away, but powerfully stir the very armies of heaven into action. A place where your declarations, once perhaps seen as mere hopes, no longer float idly into the air, but actively carve new realities, shaping your future with divine precision. A place where your posture, once perhaps fragile and uncertain, shifts irrevocably from pleading to proclaiming, from timidity to fierce resolve. And once you enter this magnificent realm, nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever go back to the way it was. You will never pray the same way again, for your prayers will now carry legislative authority. You will never see yourself the same way again, for your true royal identity will be undeniable. You will never walk through life the same way again, for your steps will be guided by divine certainty. Because once spiritual authority awakens, truly awakens, it cannot by divine law be put back to sleep. And the very moment that authority fully rises, solidified and unyielding, the secret psalm will ignite like a holy fire in your spirit, unleashing its full, unstoppable power. In the next part, you will step deeper, not just into a prayer, but into a profound identity transformation. This is the sacred stage where heaven meticulously prepares you to operate not as a desperate seeker, but as a commanding officer of blessing, wielding spiritual power with grace and certainty. What if I unveiled the truth that the very reason so many earnest believers never truly experience genuine, lasting breakthrough is not because God is silent or indifferent, but because they continue to live, to breathe, to operate under an identity that heaven itself never bestowed upon them? What if I told you that the ultimate key to activating miraculous, overflowing abundance is not found in merely learning more prayers or repeating more mantras, but in the profound act of becoming the transformed person who inherently carries the divine authority to command blessing, to speak it into tangible existence? And further still, what if I revealed that the very instant your true divinely appointed identity shifts and solidifies, the entire spiritual realms, with its myriad forces and intricate workings, must, by divine law, respond to your awakening? This, my friend, is where everything fundamentally changes. This is the sacred juncture where the journey of the secret psalm begins to penetrate the deepest layers of your soul, peeling away every false construct. This is where heaven, with its infinite wisdom, meticulously rewrites the very way you perceive yourself, tearing down old limited self-perceptions to build anew. Because before God can truly place His boundless abundance into your hands, He must first, and most importantly, transform the very person who will be holding it. Listen with absolute care, for this truth is foundational. You cannot, by spiritual law, walk in divine prosperity while simultaneously wearing the tattered identity of someone who lives in perpetual fear of lack. You cannot, with any true spiritual efficacy, decree abundance while your inner vision still sees yourself as someone fundamentally unworthy of receiving it. You cannot command financial breakthrough, truly command it with power, if your heart in its deepest convictions still believes you are perpetually relegated to the bottom, to a place of scarcity. Here this undeniable sequence identity comes before inheritance. Your spiritual position comes before your physical possession. Authority, the right to command, comes definitively before abundance, the manifest blessing. And right now, in this powerful moment, heaven is requesting one singular profound act from you, a complete irreversible transformation of how you see yourself, how you define your very being. The spiritual world, that unseen yet potent realm, does not respond to your physical appearance, to the triumphs or failures of your past, to your human achievements, or to your most earnest attempts. No, the spiritual world responds with absolute precision to your identity, to who you genuinely believe yourself to be in Christ. This is precisely why the enemy in his cunning has always attacked that area first, targeting your sense of self. He fears with a deep existential dread the day you will discover who you truly are in God. He fears you stepping boldly into your real divinely ordained spiritual rank, the place of power and authority you were always meant to occupy. He fears most of all your awakening to the profound authority you inherently carry. Because the very moment you know with unshakable certainty who you are in Christ, he loses all power, every vestige of control over your life. So let me tell you a truth that far too many never hear, a liberating truth that shatters old paradigms. You were never designed to live as a spiritual beggar, constantly pleading for scraps. You were never created to walk through life, hoping against all odds that God might somehow notice you amidst the throng. You were never meant to carry the heavy burdens of shame, the paralyzing grip of fear, the constricting mindset of scarcity, or the corrosive weight of insecurity. No. You were created to rule. You were created to command. You were created to decree. You were created as an heir to a magnificent kingdom, not as an orphan scrambling for survival. But somewhere along your journey, life, with its inevitable trials, wounded you. Disparaging voices, perhaps from others, perhaps from within, diminished your sense of self-worth. Painful experiences like sharp shards weakened your inherent spiritual confidence. Failures, whether real or perceived, bruised your spirit and eroded your belief in your own capabilities. And slowly, subtly, without even realizing the profound impact, you began to accept and wear an identity far, far lower than the glorious one heaven had lovingly spoken over you at your creation. Your spirit, that inner knowing, always sensed you were called for more, for a greater purpose. Your heart felt the undeniable tug that you were destined for extraordinary things, but your mind, influenced by the world, wore the labels it placed upon you: not enough, incapable, unworthy. And that false identity, that misperception of self, has been subtly yet powerfully limiting your abundance, ever since, acting as an invisible ceiling on your potential. But today, right now, that old limiting identity begins to die. It begins to crumble into dust, because the very sound of the secret psalm is not a gentle lullaby designed to soothe you back into slumber. No, it is a resounding wake-up call, a celestial trumpet blast that reverberates through the depths of your soul, shaking loose and shattering the old restrictive layers that have bound you. It is a divine announcement, an unmistakable proclamation from heaven itself, declaring unequivocally that your old limiting identity has officially expired. It has run its course. It no longer has any hold over you. You cannot, by divine principle, walk into your new magnificent season of abundance while still wearing the teetered mindset of yesterday. You cannot effectively receive the boundless flow of heaven's provision with hands that are still shaped and constricted by the mindset of scarcity. You cannot with any true power decree like a king while still clinging to the limiting thoughts and beliefs of a servant. So let something profoundly powerful begin within you right now in this sacred moment of transformation. Take a deep breath, and in your spiritual imagination, vividly picture your old self standing directly in front of you. See that version of you, the self that doubted every step, that was paralyzed by fear, that hesitated at every opportunity, that constantly apologized for its existence, that perpetually minimized its true worth. See that version of you with absolute clarity, for in just a moment, it will cease to exist. Its power over you will vanish. The secret psalm does not merely elevate your fleeting emotions, though it brings immense peace and joy. Instead, it elevates your very identity. It speaks to you in the same profound, affirming way that heaven speaks, not as a wounded person, broken by life's hardships, not as a fragile, easily swayed believer, but as a divinely chosen heir, royal and magnificent. So hear this truth. Let it permeate every cell of your being. You are not who your struggles, however painful, said you were. You are not who your past failures, however significant, defined you to be. You are not who your challenging circumstances tried to shape you into. No. You are unequivocally who God says you are. And God, your Creator, your Father, calls you chosen. He calls you beloved. He calls you royal. He calls you powerful. He calls you a rightful heir. You may not yet feel like royalty in every fiber of your being, but your spirit, that deepest part of you, undeniably recognizes this profound truth. Your spirit resonates with it. Your spirit is actively rising toward it, even now, drawn by its magnetic pull. Because identity, true identity, is not about fleeting emotion or momentary feeling. Identity is about revelation, a divine unveiling, though, of who you truly are. You do not suddenly become a child of God when you feel powerful. Rather, you become powerful, truly powerful, when you fully embrace, when you profoundly internalize that you are and always have been a child of God. And right now, in this very moment, the Spirit of God is meticulously removing the final lingering pieces of the old identity that held you captive, that kept you bound to limitations. Feel it. Feel the shaking, the stretching, the inner breaking of invisible chains that have held you back. Something deep within you is shedding, releasing the old. Something vital within you is awakening to its true potential. You are being clothed in a new nature, a magnificent divine essence. You are being wrapped in a new mantle of authority and purpose. You are being anointed with a new unshakable boldness. This is not mere imagination or wishful thinking. This is profound, irreversible transformation. And as this new identity solidifies within you, something truly extraordinary begins to happen. The spiritual world, that unseen, yet profoundly influential dimension, begins to treat you, the awakened heir, with an entirely new level of reverence and responsiveness. Gates that were once unyielding now spring open at your approach. Doors that were sealed shut now obey your command. Divine provision, once seemingly elusive, now recognizes you as its rightful destination. Angels, powerful celestial beings, begin to move at your every command, orchestrating your path. Darkness, with all its oppressive forces, actively retreats at your very presence, unable to withstand the light you now carry. Because identity, my friend, is the universal language of the unseen world, the key that unlocks its deepest secrets. And when your true identity, the royal one God ordained, fully rises within you, your authority, your power to influence and create, multiplies exponentially. So now, with every fiber of your being, Declare this profound truth in your heart. Let it resonate through your very core. I am no longer a mere seeker. I am a rightful heir. I am no longer a beggar pleading for crumbs. I am a commander wielding divine authority. I am no longer merely hoping for blessing. I am actively walking in it, inhabiting its reality. I am no longer passively waiting for breakthrough. Breakthrough by divine law responds to me, obeys my call. Feel the undeniable shift that is happening within you. Feel the elevation, the rising of your spirit. Feel the unshakable boldness wrapping around you, like divine armor, impenetrable and radiant. This is far more than a simple mindset shift. This is a spiritual rebirth, a fundamental reordering of your being. And with every conscious breath, you take your old self, with all its limitations and doubts, is fading further and further away, dissolving into nothingness. Your new self, the empowered, the anointed, the heaven-backed version of you, is magnificently emerging, taking its rightful place. But you must, with absolute clarity, understand something critically important. Once your identity transforms, once that magnificent shift takes place, an unyielding courage must rise within you specifically to protect and guard this precious new identity, your new identity. This magnificent, powerful truth of who you are is also in its early nascent moments incredibly vulnerable to the lingering whispers of the enemy. Fear will inevitably try to creep back in attempting to sow seeds of doubt. Memories of past struggles and failures will attempt to pull you back into old familiar patterns of thought. Voices from your past, perhaps echoing old criticisms or limitations, will attempt to reattach themselves to diminish your newfound resolve. But this time, hear this truth: you will not collapse under their weight. You will not falter. Because the divine power that is rising so magnificently within you is infinitely stronger than anything that has ever dared to oppose you, anything that has ever tried to hold you back. Your identity is not merely shifting, it is solidifying. It is anchoring itself deep within your spiritual core. It is claiming its rightful permanent place. You are stepping into your true spiritual posture, tall, steady, grounded, unmovable, a beacon of divine authority. And with this magnificent identity fully awakened within you, you are now irrevocably ready for what comes next. Because in the next pivotal part of this journey, you will courageously enter the realm of unshakable courage, that holy fire that burns away every last trace of fear, every lingering shadow of doubt. It is the divine strength that makes your authority unstoppable, an irresistible force. It is the powerful catalyst that unlocks the full, unlimited power of the secret psalm, unleashing its transformative energy into every facet of your life. Listen with every fiber of your being, for what I am about to articulate is a profound truth. There arrives a pivotal moment in every genuine spiritual journey, a breathtaking instant, when heaven itself seems to pause, when the forces of darkness visibly tremble with recognition, and when the very soul of a person catches fire, ignited by divine touch. This is the moment when something ancient, something immeasurably powerful, something utterly divine, awakens from within their depths. It is the moment when fear, that old familiar enemy, miraculously loses its voice, its power to dictate, and unyielding courage rises within, not timidly, but like a roaring tempestuous wind, sweeping away all resistance. And that moment, my friend, for you, is right now. You can already feel it, can't you? The very air around you feels different, charged with a new energy. Your spirit is stirring, resonating with an inner truth. There is a deep, profound trembling within your core, but it is not the trembling of fear, no. It is the tremor of greatness, of divine potential, magnificently waking up, asserting its presence. Because before true lasting abundance can manifest in your physical reality, before money can flow into your life, without ceasing, before doors of opportunity can swing open with supernatural ease, there must be a fundamental shift inside you. A seismic shift from the paralysis of fear to the resolute power of courage, from trembling uncertainty to unshakable, unwavering stance, from debilitating doubt to absolute commanding authority. This precisely is the moment heaven patiently waits for. This is the moment destiny with bated breath listens for. This is the moment that irrevocably transforms a mere believer into a formidable, divinely empowered warrior. Hear this truth, loud and crystal clear. Every single spiritual breakthrough, every profound turning point begins with courage. Every financial miracle, every radical reversal of fortune begins with courage. Every release of abundance, every open door, every divine opportunity that reshapes your path begins with a heart that with fierce determination refuses to bow to fear any longer. Because fear, my friend, is the insidious thief of destiny, silently robbing you of your true potential. Fear is the suffocating chain that binds abundance, preventing its free flow. Fear is the deceptive whisper that convinces you to stay small, to remain silent, to hide your light, to never step into your greatness. But courage, holy courage, is the magnificent flame that burns through every limitation, every perceived barrier. Courage is the formidable weapon that destroys every spiritual impediment. Courage is the divine fire that summons heaven's mighty armies into immediate decisive motion on your behalf. And today, right now, that sacred flame within you is being lit, fanned into an unstoppable blaze. Let this profound truth sink deep, deep into the very core of your being. You cannot, by spiritual law, effectively decree abundance while your heart still bows in submission to fear. You cannot, with any true power, command financial breakthrough while your spirit is still trembling, still uncertain. You cannot call forth divine provision, truly call it forth, while your identity remains tied to the painful memories of your past failures and disappointments. Before you can speak with true, undeniable authority, you must first stand unyielding and resolute, with unshakable courage. This is precisely why the Holy Spirit is powerfully touching you right now, in this very instant. This is why your chest feels so profoundly alive, why your breath feels heavier, imbued with divine energy, why your soul feels like it is stretching, expanding, awakening to a greater reality. You are in this moment, stepping decisively out of the constricting identity of a victim and stepping boldly into the magnificent identity of a conqueror. You are not the forgotten one. You are not the broken one. You are not the powerless one. No, you are the chosen one, the divinely appointed, and the chosen ones by divine mandate must carry courage, a fierce, unyielding courage. Picture this. With your spiritual eyes, see it vividly. Inside you lies a flame, a holy fire that has flickered quietly, often almost imperceptibly for years. A flame that has miraculously survived countless storms, endured crushing disappointments, weathered painful betrayals, faced daunting lack, persevered through unimaginable hardship, and silently absorbed countless unshed tears. That flame, by divine protection, never truly died. But now heaven is no longer just protecting it. Heaven is actively fanning it, breathing upon it with divine force. Heaven is calling it, commanding it to become a roaring blaze, a holy fire, a warrior's fire, a decree fire, an unstoppable inferno. This, my friend, is not the fleeting courage of the world born of human bravado. This is not the temporary courage derived from mere human strength or willpower. No, this is the profound, unshakable courage of someone who intimately knows with every fiber of their being, precisely who walks beside them, the Almighty God Himself. This is the fierce, unyielding courage of someone who knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that mighty angels stand sentinel at their right and left, guarding their every step. This is the unwavering courage of someone who knows with absolute certainty that the Almighty fights vehemently for them, bringing victory. And when this divine courage ignites within you, fear simply cannot survive in its presence. It cannot speak its paralyzing lies. It cannot bind your spirit. It cannot dictate your thoughts or control your decisions anymore. Feel it now. Feel how fear, that old tormentor, is losing its insidious grip on your mind, its power dissipating like mist in the sun. Feel how anxiety, that corrosive force, is melting away from your spirit, dissolving into nothingness. Feel how every single voice of doubt that once whispered, "It's too late. You're not enough. This is impossible," starts to dissolve like dust under the radiant light of a rising sun. You are stepping into a magnificent new version of yourself, a bolder version, a stronger version, a heaven-backed version. This profound courage is the undeniable doorway to limitless abundance, because money in its spiritual essence flows to the courageous. Opportunities, the kind that redefine your future, open for the courageous. Breakthrough, the kind that shatters limitations, comes directly to the courageous. And angels, those powerful heavenly messengers, respond to the voice of the courageous. Let these words hit your spirit with the force of a divine hammer. Courage is the spiritual ignition switch, the master key that causes heaven itself to move, to act, to intervene. When courage rises within you, heaven hears your voice differently, with heightened attentions and respect. When courage rises, your decrees, those powerful spiritual legislations, carry immense weight, shifting unseen realities. When courage rises, darkness, with all its oppressive forces, simply cannot approach you, for your light is too great. When courage rises, the flow of abundance, once intermittent or blocked, becomes utterly unstoppable, a continuous overflowing river. So right now, in this powerful moment, speak this silently, deeply inside your heart. Let it become a part of your very being. I release every fear that ever held me back. I let go of every doubt that ever chained me. I rise with holy courage. I stand firmly in the identity heaven gave me. I am a warrior. I am a child of the Almighty. And I declare that fear has no place in me, no power over me. Let the profound weight and truth of those words fundamentally shift something deep inside you. Because when courage rises, your entire spiritual environment undergoes a radical transformation. The atmosphere around you becomes charged with holy electricity. Your prayers, once perhaps whispered, now carry the undeniable force of thunder. Your decrees carry unshakable authority. Your very presence, imbued with divine power, carries the manifest presence of heaven itself. Fear once told you to be quiet, to shrink, to silence your voice. Courage now commands you to speak, to proclaim, to roar. Fear once told you to wait, to be patient indefinitely. Courage now tells you to command, to act, to take your place. Fear once told you to step back, to retreat from challenge. Courage now tells you to step forward, to advance with divine certainty. This, my friend, is the divine reversal that is powerfully unfolding in your life right now. You aren't becoming someone entirely new, a stranger to yourself. No. You are becoming who you always truly were. The real you, the anointed you, the courageous you, the spiritually unstoppable you. And listen carefully now, for this is a crucial insight. As this profound courage rises, surges, and solidifies inside you, heaven itself begins to gather its celestial armies. This is precisely why part 3 of your spiritual journey, The awakening of courage leads immediately and seamlessly into part 4, because until that holy courage fully ignites, until that divine flame burns fiercely within you, the angels specifically assigned to your breakthrough, those powerful heavenly reinforcements, cannot fully descend, cannot fully engage on your behalf. Angels, divine messengers, and warriors do not move at the trembling voice of fear. Angels move with swift and decisive action at the voice of unwavering authority, spoken through the crucible of courage. It is courage, bold, unyielding courage, that activates angelic movement. It is courage that summons heavenly reinforcements, bringing legions of celestial warriors to your side. It is courage that sends an unmistakable signal to the entire spiritual world, declaring that the warrior, the true heir, has awakened. And now is the time to release the help, to unleash the breakthrough, to pour forth the abundance. So, understand this truth deeply. Let it permeate your very core. Your courage, your unyielding bravery, does not merely change you. It fundamentally changes what heaven is compelled to release toward you. It alters the divine response. Even now, in this very moment, the instant your courage fully awakened, something profound shifted above you. Portals unseen to the physical eye, yet profoundly real, in the spiritual realm began to crack open. Divine light, radiant and powerful, began to descend, piercing through every layer of darkness. Heavenly forces that were once standing at a respectful distance awaiting the signal have now begun to move decisively toward you, drawn by the sound of your identity, awakening by the beacon of your courage. Heaven is responding. Angels are mobilizing. Breakthrough, that long-awaited transformation, is aligning itself with your path. Abundance, in its full glorious manifestation, is accelerating its arrival. This is precisely why you feel this undeniable intensity in your spirit right now. This is not imagination playing tricks on your mind. This is activation, a powerful spiritual ignition. Courage is the spark, the divine catalyst that sets the entire supernatural sequence into unstoppable motion. And you, my friend, have just been ignited. From this moment forward, fear does not define your decisions. Fear does not shape your identity. Fear does not influence your future. Your courage, born of heaven, born of divine purpose, born of your inherent spiritual authority, is now leading your life, guiding your every step. And this courage is actively preparing you for what comes next, for the next profound stage of your journey. Because in that next stage, the heavens will not stay silent. The angels will not remain still. The mighty armies of God will descend in full, unyielding strength to fight for your abundance, to secure your provision, and to fulfill your destiny. But heaven patiently waits for one thing first. Your courage must stand firm. Your courage must burn strong like an eternal flame. Your courage must rise like an unquenchable fire that nothing, absolutely nothing, can extinguish. And that flame within you has now been gloriously lit. Prepare yourself. The angels are coming. The battle for your abundance is about to begin, and it will be won. Listen to me with your spirit wide open, for what I am about to speak is not symbolic, not merely poetic, not a gentle metaphor. It is spiritual reality, raw and unadulterated. A reality that is unfolding around you right now, in this very moment, whether your physical eyes perceive it or not. When courage ignites, heaven does not remain silent. It roars with approval. When your identity awakens, angels do not stay still. They spring into action. When your spirit stands firm in its divine authority, the armies of God begin to move. And right now, in this very instant, they are moving directly toward you. You can almost feel it, can't you? A profound pressure in the air, a trembling in the unseen realms, a palpable shift around you so strong that even your physical body recognizes that something profoundly spiritual is happening. This is not mere imagination. This is not fleeting emotion. This is the unmistakable sound of heavenly forces being released on your behalf, a celestial symphony of power. Let this truth hit you with full, undeniable force. Your courage has summoned the armies of heaven. The very moment you rejected fear, the instant you stood firm in your spiritual identity, the second you embraced authority, instead of begging, a powerful signal reverberated across the spiritual realm. A sound, a command, a vibration that only the angels of God can hear. And they responded. Picture it vividly in your mind's eye. High above you, the very sky of the spiritual realm cracks open, not gently, but like a magnificent veil being torn apart, revealing what lies beyond. Brilliant, blinding light pours through, not just light, but divine energy, cutting through every dark, oppressive atmosphere that once hung heavy over your finances, your future, your destiny. And from within that radiant light, figures emerge, not weak, not gentle, not passive, but mighty, radiating power, terrifying to the enemy and gloriously majestic before God. These are not the soft, ethereal, floating angels from paintings you've seen. These are warriors. These are guardians. These are enforcers of divine decree. These are the angels specifically assigned to your abundance, and they are descending swift and resolute. You can almost hear in your spirit the thunderous rumble of their wings, not delicate feathers, not soft whispers, but a deep resonating thunder that shakes the very foundations of every demonic structure that once tried to block you, every spiritual barrier erected against your progress. Thunder that announces victory even before the battle fully commences. This, my friend, is what the enemy truly feared. Not your prayer alone, not your fleeting hope, not your moments of desperation. The enemy feared the day you would stand in unshakable courage and compel the heavens themselves to respond with overwhelming force. And the day is today. Now listen carefully, because what unfolds next is absolutely crucial. The angels descending upon you now are not coming to simply comfort you, to offer gentle reassurance. No, they are coming to fight for you with fierce divine resolve. They are coming to tear down brick by spiritual brick the invisible walls that have kept your finances restricted, confined, and suffocated. They are coming to break the iron bars that have kept opportunities tantalizingly out of your reach, making them inaccessible. They are coming to utterly silence every single spiritual force, every demonic whisper that has tirelessly proclaimed scarcity and impossibility over your life, attempting to steal your hope and diminish your vision. For years you might have mistakenly thought your struggles were simply natural, the unavoidable realities of life. For years you might have believed your setbacks were just bad luck, random misfortunes. For years you might have assumed your financial blockages were merely circumstances, an unfortunate turn of events. But today you are seeing the profound truth. This has always been spiritual. This has always been a fierce, unseen warfare, and heaven has finally decisively stepped onto the battlefield on your behalf. The angels are now gathering around you, forming an impenetrable spiritual formation, positioning themselves like seasoned warriors preparing for a decisive battle. Some stand steadfastly behind you, mighty protectors, guarding your past and backing your every move. Some stand resolutely before you, formidable breakers of barriers, clearing the path ahead. Some rise majestically above you, vigilant watchers overseeing the entire engagement. And others, with divine precision, surround your finances, your work, your dreams, your opportunities, guarding them like sacred, invaluable treasure. This is not exaggeration or poetic license. This is Scripture coming alive. divine order in powerful motion. The enemy sees them, these mighty celestial warriors, and panic. A cold, paralyzing dread spreads like wildfire across the forces of darkness. Those spirits that once tormented your finances now tremble with fear. Those forces that whispered failure and defeat now scatter in disarray. Those demonic gatekeepers who stood defiantly before your opportunities now begin to retreat. Their reign of terror abruptly ended, because no power in hell, no demonic entity, no earthly opposition can ever stand when the mighty armies of the Almighty descend with such overwhelming force. Hear this with your whole spirit. Let it resonate deeply. The angels of abundance do not negotiate. They break, they cut, they destroy, they burn, they reclaim, they restore. They are here specifically to enforce the decree you have courageously spoken. Remember this profound truth. God heard your voice. Heaven meticulously recorded your decree, registering it in its eternal archives. And now, the angels are actively executing what your mouth, empowered by your awakened identity, has released. This is how spiritual law works with perfect, unyielding precision. This is why the enemy was so desperate to keep you steeped in fear. This is why darkness craved your voice, silenced your declarations, muted. This is why scarcity wanted you perpetually trembling, doubting, and even apologizing for your prayers, because once you rise in unshakable courage and speak with undeniable authority, heaven is not just willing, it is obligated to move. And heaven, my friend, is moving now with decisive power. Open your spiritual eyes wide and vividly picture what is happening around you. One angel, massive and radiant, swings a flaming sword, and with one swift, decisive slice, it tears through the invisible chains that have been wrapped around your finances, holding them captive. Another slams his staff into the very ground, causing the ancient, formidable gates that once blocked opportunity to crack open, crumbling under divine force. Another lifts a gleaming shield, intricately engraved with the powerful promises of God, deflecting every single arrow of fear, anxiety, and doubt sent against you. Another pours golden, glowing oil over your hands, symbolizing the anointing of supernatural increase, a blessing of unstoppable multiplication. You are being surrounded by divine protection. You are being guarded by heavenly legions. You are being empowered with limitless might. And while this breathtaking spiritual warfare unfolds, the forces of darkness scatter like startled insects, fleeing from an erupting light. This is not a warfare you fight alone, struggling against unseen foes. No. You decree and the angels enforce. You speak and heaven moves. You stand in courage and the armies of God descend. This is the divine partnership God always intended for you, a synergy of earth and heaven. Now feel this profound truth deep within your spirit. The angels, those mighty celestial warriors, are not merely fighting against your enemies. They are fighting with zealous determination for your abundance. They are actively pushing open doors that were once sealed shut by spiritual resistance, making them accessible. They are recovering blessings that were stolen, diverted, or delayed, bringing them back to you with interest. They are lifting burdens that were far too heavy for you to carry alone, easing your load. They are aligning people, resources, and divine opportunities to precisely cross your path, orchestrating synchronous encounters. They are meticulously clearing the road ahead of you, removing every impediment, every obstacle, so that money can flow freely, quickly, and continuously into your life, an unhindered stream of provision. You are in this sacred moment, stepping into a supernatural alignment, a divine choreography where the natural physical world around you begins to miraculously mirror the glorious victory already achieved in the spirit realms. This is precisely why the promise declares that money will come fast. This is why the decree guarantees that money will come today. This is why heaven, in its boundless generosity, assures you that money will not stop flowing, because the angels are now actively working on your behalf, orchestrating your financial liberation. Feel the atmosphere around you tighten with a holy electricity, a tangible divine charge. Feel the very air shift, becoming alive with power. Feel your spirit rising even higher, ascending to new levels of awareness and authority. You are no longer fighting for breakthrough. Breakthrough by divine command is now fighting for you. Let this powerful declaration fill your entire being, saturating every cell. I am not alone. Heaven fights for me. Angels surround me. Abundance is being released. My finances are protected. My future is guarded. My blessings are delivered. My path is cleared. My warfare is won. Say it again. In your heart, speak it silently until it becomes an undeniable living reality within you. Because from this very moment on, the battle over your finances, over your destiny, has entered its most decisive, most crucial stage. The angels are not only descending, they are about to strike, to unleash their full divine power. And when they strike, everything that has ever opposed your prosperity, every stubborn resistance will fall. Everything that has relentlessly resisted your advancement, every barrier will collapse into dust. Everything that has cunningly tried to delay your abundance will be forced by divine mandate to release what rightfully belongs to you. Prepare yourself. The war for your breakthrough has begun, and heaven is winning it for you, decisively and completely. In the next part, you will witness the astounding consequences when the angels attack the forces that held your finances captive, and the chains that once bound you shatter beyond any hope of repair. Prepare your heart. Still your mind, center your spirit, because what I am about to speak is not gentle, not quiet, not calm. It is violent. It is fierce. It is holy. This is the precise moment the spiritual war over your life erupts into full, overwhelming battle. This is the moment the unseen realm becomes vividly visible to your spirit. This is the moment heaven in its power collides with darkness, specifically for you, on your behalf. And you must feel the profound weight of it. You must feel the urgent intensity of it. Because this is not a symbolic war, a mere metaphor for difficult times. This is a real spiritual conflict that has been raging often beneath the surface of your awareness for years. Every setback you faced, every door that slammed shut, every opportunity that mysteriously disappeared, every financial drought that strangled your hope, every unexpected bill that crushed your spirit, every moment you wondered, why does breakthrough continually escape me? All of it, every single instance, was the direct effect of an invisible spiritual battle. You were not imagining it. You were not overthinking it. You were not weak. You were under spiritual attack. But now the angels have descended. Now the courage in your spirit is burning fiercely. Now the decree has been activated, and hell is in full, undeniable retreat. Listen, as though your victory, your very liberation, depends on these words, because it does.